I was lucky enough to be down here where I am currently. You can tell I'm not in my typical studio if you're watching this visually. If you're an audio listener, I am down in Coral Gables, Florida at the University of Miami. I was down here for Miami versus Florida, which is where we will start our breakdowns for week 4. Down here in Miami, College GameDay put on a show. The energy was high. It was supposed to be raining all week, ended up being sunny, blazing hot in typical South Florida fashion until the game started, and it got awfully soaked on the field. The players were feeling it, but the lead up was just fantastic. College GameDay with the beautiful Miami campus in the background in its view. The fans were all packed out. A lot of these fans hadn't been to a College GameDay event in many, many years. It was the last time Miami was good, right? It's been a handful of years since we've seen a Miami team at this level. Mario Cristobal coming out. We had Pat McAfee taking a leap of faith, quite literally, taking everything but a Speedo off and jumping off of a high dive from however many feet it was. The entire fan base at College GameDay was lit up. It was a precursor to what would be a very energetic afternoon in college football. And for the game itself, Florida faltering, right, at LSU, a tough loss. At home against USF the week before, a tough loss. So 2 tough ones for Florida Gator fans and Billy Napier heading into Miami, who arguably has some of the best resume builds so far this season with wins over USF, win over Notre Dame at home. Great wins heading into another one that would prove to be the same. Number 4, Miami at home in this one, and they down here in Coral Gables, Florida. I tell you what, Miami will have the bragging rights in this state for just a little while longer. They routed the Florida Gators 26-7 last night at the Hard Rock Stadium in downtown Miami. In my opinion, Miami is the scariest team in college football right now. Scariest in that their front 7 on defense is scary good. They are junkies. They are tough. They will get after you. It is a Mario Cristobal classic. They're flying around like birds, taking people's head off. Anybody that comes across the line of scrimmage, they're there. That's the kind of defense this is. They are live. The action is there. You can tell there's a hunger piece that has been added to this group, maybe through Carson Beck, maybe through what Miami is building down here in the ACC, but the action is there. The presence is there. Mario Cristobal has his team built to the point where he has been working towards since he got this job. The Hurricanes, they dominated the first half, held Florida to only 32 total yards on a way to a 13-0 lead at the break, up 13 at halftime. The offense with the field was a little weird for the quarterback play, but the running game was the key, certainly. Cristobal said after the game, he said, "We've come miles, but we have miles and miles to go." And I couldn't agree more with that statement, but I also think on the other side of the scariest team in college football, there's this, because we haven't seen this team's full potential. 6 procedural penalties in the first half limited a lot of what Miami was looking to do on offense. Kept them to only 13 points despite having several very consistent drives, chances to score, and they faltered. They weren't able to make it happen. At one point, Carson Beck whiffed on 5 straight passes, connected on only 1 pass more than 20 yards in this game, so a little limited. Miami's defense, they obviously had stepped up, like I mentioned, but the passing game kind of faded, I thought, a little bit. Plus, they've got Florida State coming up in a couple of weeks. So Beck, I think, needs to step it up a little bit. And they allowed Florida to fight back. The energy shifted once this second half started. Florida put together an 80-yard touchdown drive, ate up basically the entire third quarter clock. Late charge, Miami had a 7-minute drive to basically bleed down all the clock, and they had a game-sealing score with just 4 minutes remaining. I thought the running backs for Miami were impressive, as they have been for the majority of this year. Mark Fletcher and Sharmar Brown combined for 190 yards rushing and 3 scores. Brown added 53 yards receiving through the air. A nice dual-threat piece there. I thought Fletcher's impressive just because of his physicality. He's a guy who loves to get downhill. And for the most part, I believe in the Carson Beck project. I know a lot of people, especially SEC people, who have seen him play at Georgia and saw how the year went last year. I'm a Carson Beck believer. I think he is the veteran of college football. He's decorated too. He plays in national championship games, has won national championships. For Miami to have a guy like him that has the chip on his shoulder, I think that's going to be huge. He was 17 of 30 for 160 yards and an interception, and he's 3-0 all time against Florida. And in the last 25 years, only fellow Georgia quarterbacks Jake Fromm and Aaron Murray also had 3 wins over the Gators as starters. So Miami, they improved to 78-3 at home as an AP top 5 team. The Gators, they struggled, finished only 139 yards, and quarterback DJ Lagway only averaged 2.8 yards per pass attempt. Gators down 0-13. They went 0-13 on third down. So a lot of numbers working against the Gators this week, and I think none more than the fact that there's no game for the Gators this week. They're heading into an early season bye week, which, in my opinion, Billy Napier's job could very well be at risk. So we will have to wait and see on that news. I'm sure that is a conversation that's looming throughout Gainesville right now, but all I know is that Miami leads Florida right now. And what I mean by leads is they are the head program in the state of Florida.